What's going on, everybody? It's yours truly, Coach Mike Dub, here with another edition of the Commanders Dub Report. Throughout the season, we be doing weekly recaps. If you've locked in over the last few weeks, you've seen that we've also done an actual whole season recap. And this time, as we wrap up the official NFL season with the Super Bowl right around the corner, we are here to tell you what to be on the lookout for as far as goals and off-season wish lists for our respective teams. Of course, if you're tuned in, we're going to be talking about none other than the Washington Commanders. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got tons of content, that we're going to drop for you all throughout the entire off season. Even though football won't be played for the next few months, the game doesn't stop. And we're going to be right along there for every step of the way. Through free agency, obviously coaching changes, mini camp, training camp, draft, all the way up until kickoff next year. So we could try to right this ship and get back to the playoffs and get back to a winning organization that I know we can be. So we're going to talk about just a few quick things to be on the lookout for this off season if you're a Commander fan, and hopefully things that we'll be able to address further on down the line throughout the free agency period, throughout the draft. We'll get a little bit more in detail as to specific guys and specific things we could be on the lookout for. But today we're just going to give a general overview of some of our goals that we have to address if we're going to get better and get back to that, to that playoff status that we want to get back to. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it. So, I mentioned it before. Uh, we're going to dive, really into the nuts and bolts, if you will, of certain guys and who can fit in where. Of course, keeping updated on who signs where, whether through free agency or who got tagged or whatever the case is as we build up to the draft, of course. But today is just about just our general goals, general things that we have to address. So, starting, in chronological order, obviously, the first thing that we wanted to do was improve our defense, and it starts from the top. So, we do have a new defensive coordinator. So, that's, check first box. As far as goals that we wanted to do, Joe Witt had to go. So, we had to start fresh with our defensive team, defensive leadership. So, that's the first thing. First goal, check. Now it's about making sure that everything goes according to plan. So as far as personnel goes, when you talk about the NFL draft or NFL free agency, there are certain positions I think that you have to address based on what you can get in the draft. So if I look at our roster, certain positions that you automatically know are going to have to be addressed. Definitely, we're going to have to see what's going on with our wide receiver room because Debo is a free agent, so we'll have to evaluate who's available, evaluate how much it will cost to bring him back. Do I think that Debo could be productive if brought back? And if we were able to have a healthy Debo Samuel, Jaden Daniels, and Terry McLaurin all at the same time, I would love to see it. I would love to have Debo back, but it depends on that price tag, and it also depends on what we're looking at in free agency. I think that we can get some quality guys in free agency. It all comes down to that price tag. I know Debo is not going to go for cheap, so that's just a question that we will have to address, whether or not we bring back Debo. If we do, then I think we have our top end of our receivers kind of solidified. I think our receiver room is good enough for camp. Of course, we might bring in a few other guys to fill out the roster. If we're not able to bring back Debo, then we're definitely going to have to target somebody to be that number one, not one, but probably a 1A, I would say, with Terry aging up there. Terry's still our number one, but we would definitely be looking to find a guy that could complement him. A guy that'll probably be a little bit more of a possession receiver. We do need somebody to take the top off. If Terry's available and Terry's able to do that, that'll be great. But we lacked that last year. So definitely going to have to figure out what we're going to do in the receiver room, whether it be bringing back Debo or if not, we're going to have to address somebody who can come in and play right away if it's not going to be Debo. And there's some options out there for us, but that's something that we're going to have to take a look at. And that same, I guess, offensive side of the ball, the other position that I would say is a high priority, maybe even the highest priority, will be the tight end position. Of course, Zach Ertz has been holding us down for the last few years. He just got injured this year. He's aging. Doesn't look like he'll be back on. Even if it wasn't an age thing, even if it was just an injury thing, I think it will be a tough hill to climb for him to be back this year. So I think it's safe to say that it's time for us to to find the next answer at tight end. And I'm not overly thrilled with this draft class. So I wouldn't be banking on finding a tight end in this draft class where to come in and compete right away. So if I were the Commanders, I would be looking to fill that role in free agency. You got guys like David Njoku, you got Kyle Pitts, two guys just off the top of my head that would definitely be at the top of my wish list as far as filling those gaps. So I would be looking for a tight end in free agency, somebody that can come in and be another weapon for us on that offensive side of the ball. It's really not too many holes, to be honest, that we have to fill on the offensive side of the ball. We just have to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. We're going to go how Jaden goes. We're going to go how the offensive coordinator, coordinates things and things like that. And we went out and made sure that we got some depth on the offensive line in the draft last year. So I think we're pretty decent there. Our offensive line wasn't bad last year. So just some weapons, some depth, and I think we'll be okay. Even our wide receiver room was decimated last year. We started out with Luke McCaffrey, who had a pretty good year. He got injured. Jalen Lane didn't quite pan out or didn't really take advantage of the opportunities that he had. We saw some flashes from Traylon Burks. So we have guys in the building. It's just a matter of seeing if they can stay healthy and take advantage of those opportunities. So really, I would say 1 to 2 wide receivers, depending on if Debo resigns or not, and tight end on the offensive side of the ball. A majority of the work is going to have to be done on the defensive side of the ball. Once again, I think you have to evaluate the draft class and what's available and compare it to what's available in the free agency. I think that we may be able to address corner. Probably is another position that we might want to take a look at in the draft. I think we may be able to get safety, defensive back in the draft, and probably linebacker or edge rusher. But all other gaps, like I mentioned, the offensive weapons will probably have to be addressed in free agency. As far as the defensive backs go, I don't really see too many guys that I'm really wowed about or really in love with that we have to go out and go get in free agency on that side of the ball. I know there's a guy that I would love to have drafted for that safety spot in that position that we're in. I think we have a pretty good chance of getting him. Also, there's a pretty good chance that we can probably get a decent edge rusher or a decent linebacker, depending on who's the best available. So, filling the gaps depending on what we land there, where we land there. I think we may be able to get something working. I do feel like this is a strong draft as far as linebacker, so I think that'll be something that we'll be able to get in the draft. We don't have a fourth or a second round pick, so we're really going to have to nail first round. Sorry, second round. We don't have a second round or a fourth round pick this year. So we still do have 6 picks. We do have 2 6 to make up for the missing fourth rounder, I guess you could say. But we don't have a second round pick. So we're going to have to nail that first round pick and then come back in the third round and hope that we can get a steal that can come out and be productive for us. So for that reason, I really think that that first pick is going to be very important for us. And looking at the draft class and looking at what we have, if I had to guess, I think it'll probably be on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, my wish list is to take a defensive back, safety that I could think of off the top of my head, Caleb Downs. If he's available, that would be my first round pick. If he's not available, we'll probably move into seeing what linebackers are available or edge rushers. And then based on what we're be able to fill in the gaps there, then I think we'll probably be able to have a good idea over who we can get in free agency. But to be honest, defensively, I don't see a lot of people that are going to be moving the needle in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. So really, a lot of our draft picks, I feel like, will probably be on the defense. And a lot of our free agency goals or free agency, I guess, priorities will be on the offense. And, I think that'll pretty much solve our roster problems. A lot of the problems that we had last year came down to health, came down to coaching. So it's not like we have a big ordeal, in my opinion, to undergo this all season with our roster. I think it's very doable. Not a whole lot that we have to do aside from staying healthy and being in the right place at the right time, fixing some of the communication things, like I mentioned, was kind of coaching on the defensive side of the ball, specifically with defensive backs. And are there any guys that I would say we absolutely positively have to re-sign and bring back? Like I said, I would love to have Debo back, but it depends on that price tag. Other than that, there's not anybody that I would say is absolutely must have back. And if not, the season would be a wash. So not a whole lot as far as re-signings going. Everybody's pretty solid. Obviously, we got Terry under contract last year. This time last year, that was a big question. We got pretty much our future quarterback and some of our newer draft picks solidified. So we're good on that aspect. This point is just about bringing in guys that are going to be complementary to our top guys that we already have, and like I mentioned before, staying healthy. So really, not too many goals that we really have to address, in my opinion. But I think we do have to be intentional with the draft and intentional with free agency, and get guys that can come in and make an immediate impact. So I think it could be done. As I mentioned before, as we get closer to the draft and closer to free agency, we'll dive into the specific names that are available and how they'll fit. But right now, if you're a Commander fan, I think we're in a pretty decent spot to where we don't have to do a complete overhaul. I don't think the roster will look, totally different. Just some holes that we have to fill and just some things that we have to address in order to get back to where we want to get back to. So be on the lookout on all of our channels. You'll hear from the Chiefs insider, RG, AG, sorry. You'll hear from our Chargers insider, RG. You'll hear from a lot of us, the Raiders team. We have myself, and we have just general NFL coverage. All times, like I said, playing football may be done for the next few months, but the game doesn't stop. We're going to be around giving you guys plenty of content, plenty of insider information, plenty of uh, I guess predictions or however you want to say it. Most of the time, we're pretty on brand with it. So I would definitely say lock in and let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know who you want to see on the Commanders, on the Chiefs, on the Chargers, or any other team in the NFL. What's a good fit? Who may be traded, and what we could be on the lookout for. And also make sure you tune in to our Patreon channel, where you'll be able to get some uncut, unfiltered, really detailed analysis of everything NFL, everything off season. And yeah, we'll keep you guys occupied as we truck through these next few months. So draft, free agency, coaching changes, schedule releases, all of the above up until kickoff next year. So seems like it's a while away, but it'll be here before you know it, and we'll be there every step of the way. So feel free to follow us. Feel free to drop some comments. Let us know what you think, and we look forward to seeing you guys over the off season.